साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललितान् श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते दिव्ये गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदीयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेष्व अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्ण। So once again I welcome all of you on behalf of Sri Radha Govinda Mandir, ISKCON Kulai Mangaluru. We have, I think, completed up to the 5th chapter in the second canto, and now we are going to discuss about 6th canto, and today we expect to cover up to 15 slokas. And actually, the demarcation is such that up to 17 slokas theme is same. So we'll see how long and how far we can go and connect. Is my voice clear, Mataji? And was the is the picture is also clear?
It's clear, Prabhuji. Video and audio are okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. So in between, if I will have disconnectivity, then kindly let me know so that I can connect through mobile phone. Okay. So now we are going into discussion of we can say somewhat technical part. Till now we had the discussions, I mean, on prayers and all these things, and we could see in the 5th chapter there was a meeting between we can say the two avtaras. Which are two avtaras? There is a meeting which was part of 5th chapter of second canto.
Virat Roop and Paramatma Roop.
No discussions between which two personalities?
Purushavatara.
It's a discussion between whom?
Brahma and Radha.
Narada and
Chapter.
Brahmaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shaktavashara. Narada.
Naradamuni and Brahma.
Brahma.
Very clear. So Brahmaji, as such, in the 3rd chapter, 1st canto, we study Brahmaji. Brahmaji is a Guna avatar.
Guna avatar.
Avatar. Rajoguna avatar, right? And Naradji is what avatar?
Bhakti Shakti Avatar.
Satyavesha. So both are avatars, and this is a discussion between the two avatars. However, in the Bhagavatam, we can see there are so many chapters and cantos filled up with the appearance of the great devotee of the Lord Narad Muni. Right? But Hare Krishna. Sita Lakshmi Mataji need to be muted.
Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, Naradji has appeared time and again in Bhagavatam, and whenever he appears, I think complete scene changes because he is a great devotee of the Lord, and he brings a lot of wisdom, and basically we can say the crux of Bhagavatam. He comes and he resolves the problems, he gives the clarification, he provides the vision to achieve the Lord to so many enormous devotees in Bhagavatam. But here, in the 5th chapter of 2nd canto, we can see that the same Narad Muni who is guiding so many devotees across Bhagavatam, numerous examples are there, he himself is inquisitive, he himself needs guidance, he himself needs clarification. This is very important in our life to understand that whatever we become, we have to always understand that we need somebody to guide us. In the process of bhakti, we have to always be, avlambit. Avlambit means we have to have always support, guide, and we can say the location at the lotus feet of the devotee. It is very important. Never ever we should feel that we are self-sufficient enough to understand everything, to interpret everything, to progress on our own in the devotional service. No. Narad Muni himself has guided numerous devotees to the lotus feet of Krishna, but he himself also understands the importance of Guru, importance of the guidance of a devotee. So in the 5th chapter, he goes to his Guru. Who is his Guru? His Guru is Brahmaji.
Brahma.
His father, right? Who was his origination, right? He went to him and with folded hands, he inquires. This is a great quality. Time and again in the bhakti, we have to go back to our spiritual master. We have to go back to our Siksha Guru. We have to go back to senior devotees. Or even, forget about senior, junior, because it's more important to have sincere and serious devotee in our association rather than so-called senior devotees, right? It's not about how many years we pass in Krishna consciousness. It's about how much sincere and serious are we about our goal of life in bhakti. How much sincere and serious are we about following the directions of our spiritual master and the founder Acharya, preeminent Siksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada. So, anyway, let's see the overview of Canto 2. His section-wise breakdown is, first 3 chapters are about superiority of Bhakti Yoga, and Sukdev Goswami is answering the 2 questions which were asked by Parikshit Maharaj at the end of first canto: how to live and how to live. What is the process? Somebody who is dying, he has to adopt, and the person who is living, how he should live. Anyway, then 4th to 7th chapter, 4th chapter, Sarga Visarga, creation, basically, through Brahma Narad Samvad. And 5th chapter is just completed. So we know that Naradji is asking 6 questions. And this is a wonderful interaction. In fact, Brahmaji is kind of, you can say, the first Acharya of our Brahma Madhva Gaudi Sampradaya. Right? He is a very highly respectable personality. And he is the one who is the first in receiving the transcendental knowledge and passing on in a disciplic succession. And we are all, in his disciplic succession, trying to reach to the ultimate goal of human life. So whatever Brahmaji speaks, whenever he comes onto the arena, it is very important for us to hear attentively and try to understand what he's trying to say. Definitely, his understanding power, his absorption, his level of devotion we do not have. So it's not that everything what he says we are able to understand, assimilate, and implement in our life. Like today's chapter is quite a technical chapter. So maybe there are many points we may or may not be able to understand in totality or in depth, or we cannot interpret. Many times we feel why we are studying all these things. But at the same time, we have to understand that it requires some level of maturity. It requires some level of sincerity and depth of understanding so that we can assimilate those knowledge and utilize in our day-to-day life. So that is 4th to 7th chapter. Then last 3 chapters, Maharaj Parikshit's questions and Chatusloki Bhagavatam is being spoken. And Maharaj Parikshit becomes very enthusiastic hearing about Krishna and asks various questions to Sukadeva Goswami. So this is the outline of second canto. And this is the chapter summary for the sixth chapter, which is being started today. So in the first 17 verses, Lord Brahma is answering the sixth question, the last one, which is raised by Naradji. Yatcha, what is composed of, or what are the ingredients of this universe, how it is being composed. Actually, Naradji being a son of Lord Brahma, and it appears that by the time he is interacting with Lord Brahma, he is also not aware about the ultimate authority, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? He feels that whomever he has seen, like a child, from the childhood he sees in his house, that who is the ultimate authority. Oh, my papa is there, who is managing everything, who is being respected in the house, he is being given the first priority in whatever services to be provided. He decides what to do, what not to do, where to do, how to do, when to do. So he feels that my father is the most powerful person. But then slowly when he ages 10, he realizes, yes, there are so many powerful people. Similarly, but then there is always an opportunity for a child to discuss with his father about the various powerful people in the world. Similarly, here Lord Brahmaji is being asked by his son Naradji very humbly, and these are the six questions which he is putting forward to his father, his guru, and the most powerful person he knows. It's not that because he is his father, because he is his guru, he is asking. He knows that Lord Brahma is the most powerful, most wonderful personality as far as his knowledge goes. So he's asking, and the sixth question is being asked, being answered in the first 17 verses. And basically, the crux of the 17 verses is the Lord is the only material and efficient cause of universe. That is the very fundamental point we have to understand. Then 18 to 22, Ekpad Vibhuti versus Tripad Vibhuti is being discussed. In fact, after 17, the course is, the balance verses are more related to devotional philosophy, and rather than less technical, or related to Vishwarupa, universal form. Then 23rd to 30, again, question 6 answered. Lord Brahma's testimony that Lord Krishna is the material cause. Then 31 to 30 is answers to second and fifth question. Yad atishtham, shelter, and what is the ingredient? That is two things which is being discussed. And 34 to 38, it is being mentioned that it is not possible to completely know the Lord. Always it is not possible, right? We have very limited power to understand and assimilate. So we cannot. Then 39 to 46, Lord Brahma describes the original creator, Mahavishnu. So that's how the chapter is. And these are the six questions of Naradji. Yad Rupam, what is the characteristic of universe? Rupam. If you want to know, because as such, but the material science till now has not even explored even 5% of the universe, material universe wherein we are located. So we can understand even at the speed of light, means 3 lakh kilometer per second, some plane can travel. Then also it seems that it will take some few hundred light years to cover the 5%, whatever we know, that much area of the universe. So we can imagine how big the universe would be. So obviously, Naradji is very inquisitive, curious to know the characteristic of the universe. Then second question is Yad Adhishthanam. What is its background? What is the shelter? Even when we were young, we also used to be curious. How this planet Earth is situated? How without any support it can still fly into the vacuum, or you can say in the space. It's very difficult, no? If we have to hang even a very light article, then also it needs some support. And how the Earth would be rotating since time immemorial in the space. So there must be some background. There must be some shelter. And similarly, Naradji is asking for entire universe. What is the shelter? Then Yat Srishtam. how it is created. When we were young, now we also have still, we keep questioning how this universe came into the place. Somebody says there is a Big Bang theory. Somebody says there was a big blast, and then over a period of time the lava became settled, and then millions of years, and then some amoeba, one cell living being came into the picture, and then slowly from apes the humankind developed. All these things, theories, how it is created is the question which helps us to understand how it is maintained and how it will be annihilated. It is very important to understand the creation part. Even in bhakti, we are always curious how we will get bhakti, how we can bring somebody to Krishna consciousness, right? That creation, that start, that initiation is always very important. That's why in devotional service also, somebody gets initiated, that is considered very important, right? The start. If we know how to start, it is said that good start is half win. So creation, if we know, it's easy to understand further maintenance and annihilation. So Naradji says how it is created. Then next comes Yat Samstham, how it is conserved or dissolved. Then Yat Param, what it depends on. And Yatcha, what it is composed of. So the sixth question is going to be answered today. There is a purport of Srila Prabhupada, 2.1.26. May I request Hare Krishna. Yes, Subhamai Harini Mataji, will you please read out this? The conception of universal form.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Is it visible?
Yes, Prabhuji. I am reading from the book, I suppose. It's quite small. Okay, let me make it big. Yes, Prabhuji. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord. But the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the wall in the spirit of lording over it is not God realization. The materialistic view of exploitations of the material resources is occasioned by the illusion of the external energy of the Lord. And as such, if anyone wants to realize the supreme truth by conceiving of the universal form of the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. Unless the service attitude is revived, the conception of Virat realization will have very little effect on the Shiv. The transcendental Lord in any conception of his form is never a part of the material creation. He keeps his identity as a supreme spirit in all circumstances and is never affected by the three material qualities, for everything making is contaminated. The Lord always exists by his eternal energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So, universal form is being discussed here, and actually, Srila Prabhupada has titled this chapter as Confirmation of Purush Sukta, right? But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has titled it differently. He has titled as Second Description of Virat Rupa of the Lord, Vishwarupa of the Lord. So, Acharya to Acharya, the name differs, But we also have, many a times we feel why Acharya to Acharya the name should differ. Why Srila Prabhupada should name it that it is a confirmation of Purush Sukta, and why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur should name it as a second description of Virat Rupa of the Lord, or the Vibhutis of the Lord. But at the same time, there is another question which comes. The question is, how the chapters are broken. When there was a discussion between Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, or when there was a discussion between the 88,000 rishis headed by Sanaka Muni with the Suta Goswami, or when there is a discussion between Naradji and Brahmaji, they don't pause and say, okay, now chapter 5 is over, Now let us start chapter 6, and the sixth question will be answered now. Yaccha. Let us discuss about it. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Atha Panchadaso Adhyaya Purushottama Yoga, right? That is not being the way Krishna told to Arjuna. So chapters are not broken by the original narrators or the Katha Vachak, they don't do. But maybe the first commentator, it starts with the commentary part. When it starts to further the tikas, like in our Bhakti Parampara, the first, I mean, the most ancient one, the tika, the commentaries come from whom? Whom it comes? Whose commentary even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to read? Whose commentary?
Sridhara Swami Prabhuji.
Sridhara Swami, Hari Bol. Very nice, Mataji. So Sridhara Swami, maybe he has broken that chapters. Maybe it may happen. Or earliest commentators are generally from Advaitwadi, Shankaracharya's group, and they generally depend more on Shrutis rather than Smrutis, and then they feel that no, only the Shrutis are always, bona fide, and they depend on some of the Upanishads and all these things. And they started with this because Purusukta is part of, again, Shrutis. And they are always more, contained with Purusukta. So the title is, their commentary generally names the title as a Purusukta, confirmed. Because they always want to prove that yes, Bhagavatam is substantiating what we have studied till now as part of Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads. So maybe it has come from that. But all in all, the point is that yes, Purusukta, we will see also snaps from Subodhini, and there also the clear comparison Gauragnasan Prabhu has given of Purusukta shloka number, and even Bhagavatam chapter 2.5, 2.6 shloka numbers, how it does match. One of the verse it says that the Lord is beyond beyond the material universe, 10 inches or 9 inches, something like that. And then the same thing is being tallied with the Purushukta's verse which says the Sangulam. Angulam means 10 only, one inch, so like 10 inch. So all this parametric comparison has been made, and we can ensure we can see that yes, Purushukta is confirmed as part of this. But important point is that the Virat Roop is being discussed, and many a times we are coming across, even in the 10th chapter of the same canto, I think we'll come across the Virat Roop again, and the same points will be discussed, what we are discussing now, the gross senses, the subtle senses of the Lord, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the gross senses and subtle senses of universal form, and the gross senses, subtle senses, and the sense devatas of living beings. So all these things are coming again in the 10th chapter, only with one more addition of information that by which desire of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead that particular organ or the sense is being developed, right? That is the only extra information. So we see these are two things. Even in Vishwarupa, when Krishna shows to Arjuna during the Bhagavad Gita, that also we refer the universal form of the Lord. But then why Narad Muni is such interested, even after when Narad Muni asks these questions and Brahmaji answers all the questions, it's not that only Naradji says, yes, thank you for clarifying. Brahmaji himself conveys his gratitude to Naradji for asking such questions, That's a beauty of the spiritual discourses. Even when like Sanat Kumaras went and met Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj asked various questions, and Sanat Kumaras being so enlightened, they clarified all the questions of Prithu Maharaj. And after answering all the questions, when Prithu Maharaj conveys his gratitude, then Sanat Kumar says, no, we are also equally grateful to you for asking such questions. So it is very important to understand that we understand the importance of being able to hear the interactions, the dialogues between such an exalted devotees of the Lord. And when both are so much grateful, and when both of them understands the importance of the topic they have brought in, and they are able to utilize the time to discuss such the enlightened topics, which is only the great devotees of the Lord can understand the importance. Like Maitreya Muni and Vidur Muni, when they met, the questions asked by Vidurji is helping Maitreya Muni to enter into the Leela of the Lord, Dwarika Leela of the Lord. So Maitreya Muni himself feels helpful, feels grateful, you must have observed many a times when at the end of the Bhagavatam class, or let's say His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu gives a class on Sunday on Chaitanya Charitamrita. When you ask the question, the speaker himself feels very obliged to answer, and he feels, yes, it helps me also to deepen my understanding. So Brahmaji here at the end of answering, he feels that we both have benefited from your questions. Whenever we meet with other devotee, we should definitely ask the questions. Even if many times we have seen the senior, so advanced devotees, serious devotees, they ask the questions when when we hear, we feel very surprised. Such a basic question, why he has asked? But then when it is answered, the speaker's way of looking at those modalities, his angle of understanding those spiritual truth, it comes out like a churned butter. So here when Naradji is asking about creation, Naradji has nowhere asked about Virat Roop, you see, but Brahmaji brings in Virat Roop. That's why even like Bhagavatam, everyday class, there is, same Bhagavatam is there. But every devotee, when he brings a definitely different angle of understanding at looking at it, and appreciating those spiritual truths. We have in fast track, so many devotees are facilitating. Every day we see and we realize, wow, what a new way of looking at it. So Lord Brahma is feeling very grateful by answering these questions. And the previous chapter also, fifth chapter also ended with the description of Virat Roop. And basically, that chapter was titled as The Cause of All Causes. And all the questions are being answered by Brahmaji in his own sequence, not the same sequence which Naradji is asking the questions. So that is also very important. That is being left to the speaker to decide. Even some of the questions he may not answer also, depending upon the situation, time, place, and circumstances. So it is all being left unto the speaker. And Brahmaji, as per the Naradji, feels that Brahmaji is the independent creator, and he compares him to the spider which is creating a web. And still he saw that though Brahmaji is creating entire universe, he is still performing austerity to please the higher authority. Who is that authority? That is the question. And then it starts with these answers. Only one important point I want to bring it here is that many times we have seen in Bhagavatam and other granthas written by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has always written that this Virat Roop or universal form is basically for neophytes. He has time and again written that the advanced devotees are not interested either in the universal form or in the Chaturbhuja Roop, Vaikuntha Narayan Swarup with all opulences, Sankha Chakra Gada Padma, but they are always interested in the Dvibhuj Shyam Sundar Mullidhar Tribhang Swarup, right? But we should understand that we should never ever, condemn the Virat Roop, because there are various ways in our spiritual journey, and many people may, based on their understanding and development and grace of God, they may also be able to do a progress based on their conception and understanding of Virat Roop. So we should not ever if somebody is more interested in and he is meditating on the Virat Roop, it's okay, it's all right. One of the offense in the Nam Aparadh, the fourth offense. Anybody remembers what is the fourth offense? Hare Krishna.
To blaspheme Vedic scripture,
To
but
consider the
spreading
glories of
persecution and
pursuance
request.
of Vedic
Vedic
versions.
version.
Haribol. So the fourth offense is blaspheme the Vedic scripture or the versions or derivatives of the Vedic version. So many times we as a bhakti yogis, we feel that this karma kanda, jnana kanda, those are all to be condemned, because Prabhupada within 10 years he has to establish the cult of bhakti, Krishna consciousness. So he was very straightforward and we can say ruthless in condemning so many things. He used to use many times a word like rascal. So for him it was all right. But there are people who can still follow Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas, many other Puranas, right? We know that yes, the crux of all the Vedas is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The Bhakti Shastras are the best, and this will help us to progress the most fastest way and easiest way in Krishna consciousness and spiritual life. But there are people who can still follow the Vedas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. They can still follow the Jnana Yoga. They can still follow this Ashtanga Yoga, right? They can still follow Veda and Upanishad. So being devotees, generally they don't do offense. Devotees, why is some devotee will offend the Shastras? They will not. No? Vedic Shastras, why they will do? But when this was written, the 10 offenses were written. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that yes, non-devotees will anyway never not going to chant Hare Krishna, right? But the devotees are chanting, and that's why they are prone to make this offense that no karma kanda, no jnana kanda, or Veda, Upanishad, they may condemn that. But we need to understand that yes, it requires even to follow the karma kanda, jnana kanda, or Ashtanga Yoga, or Veda, or Upanishad, it requires a lot of effort and practice of maybe many births. If somebody is able to do that, it's fine. It's his way of approaching this ultimate spiritual truth. So we should be always be careful of not condemning the Vishwarupa of universal form, or if somebody is worshipping the universal form, it's his way. Like Purusukta, many times the commentator they say, यार पुरुषुक्ता क्या है, हमको तो भगवान का सीधा हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र में हो गया, हमको क्या उसका बात करने में, नहीं. We cannot take it so lowly or talk about it. It's an offense to the spiritual name, holy name. So we should abstain from taking any such stand in neglecting the Virat Rupa, neglecting the worshippers of Virat Rupa, or neglecting or condemning the followers of Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. No, it's there. Even Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, if somebody has decided to progress in that path, we should not try to break their faith, let them progress on that. And their time when it may come, or if it may not come, they may proceed as per that. So anyway, coming back to the point, let us start with the first verse. I will share the Veda base. And universal form, as we know, is sorry. Veda base screen is visible to you, 2.6.1.
No, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu, only we are able to see you. There is no screen which is shared.
Sorry. Now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let us start. Brahmo vacha vacham vanirmukham kshetram chandasam saptadhatavah havyak kavyamrutananam jiva sarvarasasya cha. Okay. Audarya Gaurang Prabhu, will you please read the translation? Lord Brahma said.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Translation by His Divineness Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma said, the mouth of the Virat Purusa, The universal form of the Lord is the generating center of the voice, and controlling deities is fire. His skin and 6 other layers are the generating centers of the Vedic hymns, and his tongue is the productive center of different foodstuffs and delic delic
Delicate.
delicacies for offering to the demigods, the forefathers, and the general mass of people. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So there are so much of technicalities, but I will try to explain you the basic things which you may be knowing anyway by the virtue of the journey you have done till now and even heard beyond this Bhakti Vaibhav course. We know the process of creation, right? We know from Krishna the first expansion Balramji comes, and from Balramji Sankarsana Pradyumna Niruddha comes, and from again Sankarsana second Chaturvyuh comes, and then we have a Mahavishnu or Karandaksai Vishnu, and from the body pores of Mahavishnu, so many universes are being generated when he exhales, right? And from in the each universe, Lord enters. This each universe is floating in the Karandaksai sagar, and when Lord enters inside, he is filling half of the universe with his perspiration. He is called Garbhodakshai Vishnu, right? So inside the universe, the 50% of the portion is Garbhodakshai Sagar. Outside the universe, it is Karanodakshai Sagar, right? And from the navel of Lord Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the lotus comes out, and then all the 14 planetary systems is being generated. Now, the jivas are coming into the picture, and before the jivas, the living beings comes into the picture. How those living beings are supposed to do something, right? When we are in the abdomen of the Mahavishnu, then we are in like a coma stage. We don't have any chance to do I mean, to speak, to see, to hear, to walk, to do something, to feel, to desire. There is no opportunity for us. But when we are given opportunity to take a birth, and at that time, all these opportunities are to be provided with limited independence, right? So, how do we get all these senses? So, we get it because Lord himself has all these senses. So Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the originator in the universe itself, he is the principal authority or the main form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom all the senses are getting developed, right? He has his gross senses and he has his subtle senses also. There are two. Generally, we are aware about our gross senses, but behind every gross sense, there is a subtle sense also. Like many people will have a eye, but not that all the people having eye will be able to see. Like a mobile, we see there is a mobile, and mobile has a camera. So if the camera is functioning properly, but if there is no app, which is called camera app, we require app also, right, inside the camera mobile. So if we don't have app, but even if we are having the camera, the lenses are there, we will not be able to take a picture or take a video, right? Both of them are required. So the lenses of mobile are kind of gross senses, and the app inside is a subtle sense. Similarly, there is an eye, and eye is a gross sense, and behind eye there is a subtle sense, chakshu, right? So if we have both gross sense and subtle sense, then there is a capability to view. Still, it is not meeting the minimum requirement to perform the activity of seeing or viewing or observing, right? It is not still there. Still, we need much more thing that we will discuss. But just to know from where these gross and subtle senses are coming, those are coming from Supreme Lord himself. The Garbhodakshai Vishnu himself has gross senses and subtle senses. Though his complete personality is spiritual, so his gross senses is also transcendental, and his subtle senses are also transcendental. Both are transcendental. But still, as he has both gross and subtle senses, we also have both gross and subtle senses, right? That is number one. Number two, between the living beings, we all jivas, and the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is one more layer, and that layer is what being discussed here is a Virat Roop or universal form, right? So whatever gross and subtle senses are there in Garbhodakshai Vishnu is being again reflected in the Vishwarupa or universal form of the Lord. As such, universal form is not being considered as a permanent form of the Lord. All other incarnations or the form of the Lord have their own spiritual worlds, universes. But this particular Virat Roop is many a times it is being called as fictional or we can say imaginary, or but then it has its own importance because not all can imagine the Vishwaroop. The people who have progressed a lot in that kind of meditations and understandings of Shastra can imagine Kalpana, that universal form, and it is also helpful for them to progress spiritually. It's not that everything which is imaginary is not helpful. It has its own utility and it helps one to understand the creation part of the Supreme Lord. So it is very important that we do not discriminate. But the gross, coming back to the original point, gross and subtle senses of Garbhodakshai Vishnu is again being reflected in the Virat Roop, universal form. And from universal form, the same gross senses and subtle senses are being awarded to the living beings when they come into the material world. But in addition to these gross and subtle senses, there is a sense devta also. Because in living beings, there has to be one authority which, as part of kind of super soul or Paramatma, or kind of mediator with super soul, who approves of such and such action. So, in the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, it is not required to have the sense devata, Indri devata. It is not required. But for living beings, the Indri devata is required. So, we have, in addition to gross senses and subtle senses, we have a sense devata also. Now, coming back to the original example of seeing, we have, let's say, gross sense, we have, let's say, subtle sense, we have eye, we have chakshu devata, we have chakshu, we have let's say indriya devata, the sense devata also. But at the same time, we need something more beyond that. Let's say we have to see clay pot, right? Then clay pot, and anything what seeing made of what, whatever in this material world is made up of what? Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, a bit
Yes, Prabhuji.
disturbed. 5 elements.
Five
Panchamahabhuta.
Panchamahabhuta. Very well. So, basic fundamental either of element is required. Now, clay pot is made of clay, earth, right? So, one of the Panchamahabhuta, which is earth, is present there. And then there is a shape of that Panchamahabhuta in the terms of, let's say, wonderful clay pot is made and nice painting is done above that, and good colors and shape is given to it. So, shape is required and basic Panchamahabhuta is required. Still something more is required if we have to see. What else is required? If we
The
have,
person who makes it, Prabhuji.
no, if we
Water.
maker is not there.
Senses, Prabhuji.
Pardon?
Senses.
Senses I have said, gross sense, subtle sense, sense devata. Then we have this basic element of one of the five elements. We have shape also. Everything is there. Still,
Sunlight. Sun.
we need a sunlight also, right? We need a light actually. In the material world, we need the light. If we, let's say, I switch off the light, and I put down the curtains here, then even if my camera is on, you will not be able to see me, right? Huh? While in case of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, or let's say in case of Krishna, na tadbhrasate suryo, na sasanko na pavaka, yadgatva na nivartante, tadhama paramam mama. Krishna doesn't need, because it is self-illuminated, right? Krishna himself is self-illuminated, his dham is self-illuminated, right? So there it is not required. But in case of jivas, we living beings, there is additional requirement, which is we'll see in the photographs of, let's say, Subodhini. There is a wonderful chart made. So, Prabhupada says in the purport, the opulences of universal form of the Lord are described herein. And it is said that his mouth is generating center of all kind of voices. So until and unless Lord has desire to speak, until and unless Lord has those senses, gross and subtle, we cannot have. We are made in the image of God. So because Krishna has those senses and sense organs, we are being entitled to have that. And its controlling deity is a fire demigod. His skin and other 6 layers of bodily constructions are the representative generating centers of 7 kinds of Vedic hymns, like Gayatri. Krishna says, Gayatri Chandasaham. So out of those chandas, Gayatri, Krishna says, I myself. So similarly for Prabhupada says, voice, tongue, skin, all of these things. And further, he mentions that the only difference is that material activities are contaminated by 3 modes of material nature, whereas the potencies in the spiritual world are all pure, because they are engaged in the unalloyed transcendental loving service of the Lord. So even if we, let's say, we are able to achieve the human goal of life and being able to transform to Goloka Vrindavan, and though we will get a spiritual body, again in the spiritual body we will have gross and subtle senses, right? And those will be helpful for us to do devotional service, rather than here we are using it for our own sense gratification. But if we are able to use these gross and subtle senses in the service of Krishna, then even before we are transferred to Goloka, here itself we are able to experience the pure devotional service and love of Godhead. Very nice, wonderful verse Srila Prabhupada has quoted. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparattvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Yes, Shanti Sudesh Mataji, will you please read this originally since all, the last paragraph?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Originally, since all the senses are produced of the Lord's reservoir of senses, the sensual activities of the material world are to be purified by the process of devotional service, and thus the perfection of life can be attained simply by purifying the present position of our material activities. And the purifying process begins from the stage of being liberated from the conception of different designations. Every living entity is engaged in some sort of service, either for the self, or for the family, or for the society, country, etc. But unfortunately, all such services are rendered due to material attachment. The attachments of the material affinity may be simply changed to the service of the Lord, and thus the treatment of being freed from material attachment begins automatically. The process of liberation is therefore easier through devotional service than by any other methods. For in the Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is said that one is subjected to various kinds of tribulations if one is impersonally attached. Klesho adhikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Mother. So very important point Prabhupada makes, that attachment of material affinity may be simply changed to the service of the Lord. We may not be able to understand so many complexities, and further, the Vedic cosmology, which will come further in the Bhagavatam. Those are all very complex and critical subject matters. We may not able to comprehend everything. We may not be able to understand and remember everything. But the point which Prabhupada makes is very important, is the changing the material affinity and the attachment to the service of the Lord. And Prabhupada says Thus, the treatment of being freed from material attachment begins automatically. It begins very automatically, simply by using our tongue in the service of Krishna, simply by using our time, like when businessmen earlier they used to use that taraju. In Hindi it is called taraju. What do you say? Balance. Hmm? When he is free, he will simply change the weight from one taraju to another taraju. Because he want to be invested there only. Similarly, when we invest our senses, what I'm trying to tell you are able to understand. Whenever we are able to find some time, we should ensure that our senses, gross and subtle, both should not be misled to any material thoughts. We should invest. Either we write, either we read, either we discuss, either we make something, or we try to serve somewhere. We keep fully busy. Param Pujya Namanishta Prabhu says how to avoid the attacks of Maya. He says keep your schedule very challenging and very tight. No, you should not have time to breathe even. Right? It's like that. He has asked to some sannyasi who came to the temple when it was at a earlier place. He asked how to remain, foolproof, bulletproof from the attack of Maya. And he said, keep your day full of challenges and keep it very busy, very tight, so that we remain always focused on the lotus feet of Krishna. So I will share one table, which is, I think, part of Subodhini, which is very important actually to understand the various sense organs of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is the table visible right now?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So these are all various sense organs. Let's first see the titles of the column. There are 4 columns. Okay, the first one is a gross sense organ. What is that said? Let's say first we talk about mukham, means mouth. And then what is the subtle sense organ? Though everybody will have a tongue and everybody will have a lips, but not everybody can speak because he doesn't have subtle sense organs. So subtle sense organ is a vacha. Then third column is of sense devata. So in the first sloka itself, it is mentioned Agni Devata. It is called the sense devata for the vacha. And the fourth one is basically the sense object, tan matra, which is called tan matra. Sense object is a speech. What are other tan matras? Hare Krishna. 5 tan matras. Sense objects.
Shabda, Rasa, Rupa,
Touch,
Gandha,
I
Spashya,
smell,
Touch, Rasa, Rupa.
smell,
Very
Touch,
nice.
smell, taste.
Yes. Yes, absolutely right. So those are the things which is being listed in the rightmost column, and there is a activity also. So this they have tried to connect with the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks what is called Adibhuta, Adideva, Adhyatma, and Adideva. So same things. Like a gross sense organ is a adibhuta, which is visible, which is adibhuta. A subtle sense organ is which is kind of hidden, adhyatma, kind of paramatma or background. And then adhyatma is a part of subtle sense organ, and adideva is a sense devata, kind of paramatma. So there we see like for mukham it is Agni Deva, for tongue it is Varuna. And their sense organ is a jiva, and gross sense organ is a talu. Then the sense object plus gross element is taste and water. So this is how we see for all various sense organs, gross and subtle, the sense devatas and sense objects are being listed. This is being discussed in the further verses. So we'll travel again back to Vedabase. Because in the slides, it is only 3 slides and I could not find much detail. So I thought better we go through Veda base. And first one will take time, but others are simply, even so it should be easy to travel fast. Okay. 2.6.2. Sarva sunam cha vayoscha tannase paramayane asvinoro sadhinam cha grano moda pramodayoho. Yes, Subamai Harini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His two nostrils are the generating centers of our breathing and of all other airs. His smelling powers generate the Aswini Kumar, demigods, and all kind of the medicinal herbs. And his breathing energies produce different kinds of fragrance. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very good. So, two nostrils they are talking about are, let's say, gross senses. Then these are the centers of breathing and all other airs, smelling powers, and the Devata is Aswini Kumara. And his breathing energies produce different kinds of fragrances. We'll see in the table further after a couple of more verses. Rupanam tejasam chakshur divah suryasya chakshini karnau disam cha tirthanam srotram akasa sabdayoha. Yes. Radha Vallabi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His eyes are the generating centers of all kinds of forms, and they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and the heavenly planets. His ears hear from all sides and are receptacles for all the Vedas. And his sense of hearing is the generating center of the sky and of all kinds of sound. Purport.
Yes, it's fine, Mataji.
Okay.
So, here, Prabhupada, Hare Krishna, Prabhupada talks about the hearing capacity, the senses of the Lord. He can hear from all sides and are receptacles for Vedas. We have limited capacity to hear. Like all our other senses have limited capacity. We see in very limited range of light. Luminosity is required to see. And even the sound also, we can see many a times when earthquake is going to come. Many of the living beings which resides below the earth or deep earth, they come out. Before the earthquake actually arrives, they run away from that place because they have that senses. Their senses are such powerful, they can hear those vibrations much before it comes to the actual materialization. But the Lord's senses are such that he can hear any and every sound vibration and from any of the directions. These are very important things because like in human being, we are having some limited vibrations perceptibility. Even if next birth, if we get in any other species, like Indradyumna Raja, king, was transferred into the elephant yoni, the Gajendra. And when he speaks, at that time also Krishna is able to hear, because Krishna is able to hear any and every frequency of vibrations. So it is very important that even if we are in any kind of situation, even if we are able to speak or we are not able to speak, but our feelings will be understood by Krishna if we are connected. So it is very important. Prabhupada says the propounders of the Vedic knowledge are also known as the Tirthas. Jiva Goswami's definition. Tirtham Kurvani करके जो आता है basically. The devotees of the Lord are those who purifies the tirthas itself. When Ganges and Yamunajis and all these holy rivers went to Krishna, that you are asking us to continue on this material world, but we will be loaded with so many sinful reactions of the people who are coming to our place and bathing. So Krishna says, no, when the devotees of mine will come to your place, you will get purified. So Yudhishthira Maharaj says when Vidurji comes, that you are the living Tirtha. So Prabhupada makes that point here. We'll see in the table further. Tadratram vastu saranam saubagasya cha bhajanam tvagasya swarsavayoscha sarvamedasya chaivahi. Yes, Vamsi Mohan Prabhu, Hare Krishna. His bodily surface.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. His bodily surface is breeding ground for the active principles of everything and for all kinds of auspicious opportunities. His skin, like the moving air, is the generating center for all kinds of sense of touch and is the place of performing all kinds of sacrifice.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada says the air is the moving agent of all planets, and as such, generating centers for promotion to the deserving planets. The sacrifices are his bodily surface and are naturally the origin of all auspicious opportunities. This is very important. Naturally, the origin of all auspicious opportunities. What are those auspicious opportunities? Auspicious opportunities are those wherein we are being awakened to our original form, and we are able to at least understand superficially that we are not this body, we are the soul, and being a soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Being a part and parcel of Krishna, our eternal duty is to serve Krishna. When we are able to realize that, at least superficially, or let's say logically, or let's say technically, then that original, the auspicious opportunity has arrived in our life. After the millions and billions of births, this opportunity comes. So Prabhupada says the Krishna's bodily surface is the origin of all auspicious opportunities. The Virat Rupa's surface, So next we'll go. Romanyudvijya jatinam yairva yagnastu sambrutah kesas manus khanyas shashilaloham bravidyutam. The hairs on his body. Yes, Madhumay Krishnakant Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The hairs on his body are the cause of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifice. The hairs on his head and face are reservoirs for the clouds, and his nails are the breeding ground of electricity, stones, and iron ores. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada in purport says, polished nails of the Lord generate electricity. The cloud rests on hairs of his head. One can therefore collect all sorts of necessities of life from the person of the Lord. And therefore the Vedas affirm that everything that is produced is caused by the Lord. The Lord is the supreme cause of all causes. This is the only line which is common for all the 17 first verses. This is what we have to understand. The takeaway is simple. That everything that is produced is caused by the Lord, number one. And second is the Lord is the supreme cause of all causes. Very important point. Okay. Bahuvo lokapalanam prayasha kshema karmanam. Subhamai Harini Mataji. The Lord's arms.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord's arms are the protective fields for the great demigods and other leaders of the living entities who protect the general mass. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada refers the 41 and 42 verses of 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, wherein Krishna explains, Yad Yad Vibhutim Mat Sattvam Srimad Urjitvam Eva Va Tat Tad Eva Avagachatvam Mama Tejom Sa Sambhavam Athava Bahunetaina Kim Gnatena Tavarjuna Vishtabhyam Idam Krishnam Ekamsena Stito Jagat. Prabhupada makes it very easy for us, because once we go through, there are so many gross senses, there are so many subtle senses, there are so many sense devatas, there are so many tanmatras or sense objects, 5, 5, 5, 5, all this minimum we are talking about. So many things, how to remember and how to actually get the perception of the Vishwarupa or universal form of the Lord. We feel that it is much more complicated. When we enter into the Krishna consciousness, we thought that it is the easiest path. Krishna said that this is the most easy path. Other paths are duskaram. But then when we come here, we realize, oh, there are so many technicalities. So Prabhupada makes it very easy for us. Prabhupada refers here the words of Krishna. What he says that the all great personalities and who are all protecting the interest of universal affairs and maintenance, all of them are different powerful parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, which includes whom? Brahma, Seva, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varun, Marut. All are part and parcel of Supreme Lord. We have to always, if we realize this, then we are very assured. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is the father of all living entities who are placed in the different high and low positions according to their desires or aspirations. And some of them, as particularly mentioned above, are endowed with powers by the will of the Lord. All demigods are endowed with the powers by the will of the Lord. A sane person must know, Prabhupada says must know. Wherever there is a must word, we should highlight and underline. So if we want to become sane, what we should do? We must know that for certain that a living being, however powerful he may be, is neither absolute nor independent. Either we talk about Shivji, we talk about Durga, we talk about Brahmaji, or any demigod for that sake. They are not independent. They are not more powerful. Asamordhvam. So nobody is equal to Krishna, nobody is greater than Krishna. And Prabhupada says, all living beings must accept the origin of their specific power as mentioned in this verse. Now, this will help us to avoid being proudy at any moment, right? Many a times we perform some extraordinary task, we achieve something which is very rare. We feel that we have reached to the stage wherein which we were feeling, we were dreaming earlier. At that time, if we want to avoid being proud, then these are the words we must remember. Prabhupada says, all living beings, means all of us, must accept the origin of our specific power. Everybody of us has some specific talent, right? Somebody may sing well, somebody may speak well, somebody may interpret well. Everybody of us has some or other skills. Prabhupada says that is by the will of the Lord. We are neither independent nor absolute. And if they act accordingly, if we act as per this, then simply by discharging their respective occupational duties, they can achieve the highest perfection of life. Because that will help us to remember Krishna. What is the purpose of studying all the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, or even for that sake, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction? What is the purpose? The simple bottom line is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So, if we are able to connect our skills, our abilities, our talents with Krishna, that these are all endowed by Krishna, then we are able to remember Krishna and we are able to ensure that we are not forgetting Krishna. Time and again, it will give us a memory, or it will help us to avoid repenting. Many times people feel, I used to do this work in a moment, right? And now I am not able to do it. Let's say somebody was very good at something, but over a period of time, due to some or other reason, he is not able to do that. Then he will not be repenting. He will understand, yes, there is a saying, na, Kabe Arjun Lutiyo, Vahi Dhanus, Vahi Baan. What does it say? What does it mean? Kabe Arjun Lutiyo, Vahi Dhanus, Vahi Baan.
When Arjuna was
Arjuna was having the same, bow, but he could not use it properly.
protect those queens of
Wives of Krishna.
Of
queens
Krishna.
of
Very good.
Because his powers was withdrawn by Lord
Covered
Krishna.
for like a
So-
covered
His
there.
power was with the
Covered there. Yeah.
Krishna.
So I mean, those moments in the life of Arjuna, Arjuna could tolerate because he could remember that whatever powers I had were the powers given by Krishna. By His mercy, I was so much powerful. By His mercy, I was able to use my Gandiva. By His mercy, I could defeat Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and so many other immortal warriors throughout his life, right? But when Krishna is withdrawn those powers, then and if I am defeated, I am happy with that. And we'll be able to remember Krishna also by that. Okay, Krishna, you have withdrawn that. Fine. You gave me so much money, but now I lost because it was your mercy. You can give the way you want to keep me in this material world. I am ready to be in this material world. And this will help us to become more surrender, more submissive. Every moment of our life, we will be able to connect and remember Krishna. So Prabhupada says, as long as the powerful men of the world do not accept the origin of their respective powers, namely personality of Godhead, the action of Maya will continue to act. This is not applicable not only to the powerful men, this is applicable to us also. We feel that, oh, this knowledge has come to us, this wealth has come to me, this position or power has come to me by my own virtue, then Maya will continue to act. And the actions of Maya are illusory material energy, wrongly accepts himself all in all. I am everything. I, me, myself, Prabhupada says. Such a long purport Prabhupada has given, somebody may read and they may say that there is no connection with the translation directly. But Prabhupada wants to make us spiritually advanced. So he says that this has a purpose. He says struggle for existence in human society is very hard. The intelligent class of men therefore must admit, again must. You see how many times he has used must in this para. Must admit the Lord as the ultimate source of all energies and thus pay tribute to the Lord. Now, Manmana Bhav Madbhakto Madhyajimam Namaskuru. When will be able to do that? When we'll be able to do that? When we are able to understand that, oh Krishna, today you gave me the skill, to the capacity to speak. Oh Krishna, you gave me capacity to hear, to read, to contemplate, to think about you, to mingle with your devotees, to talk about Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, how fortunate I am, how merciful you are. With thinking like that, we are able to connect with Krishna. So Prabhupada says, must admit. Every day we should admit, must admit. Thank you, Krishna. The moment we arrive awake from the bed, we should thank Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you have given me one more day to chant your holy name. You have given me one more day to talk about your devotees' pastimes, your pastimes in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So we must admit. And that admission will help us to what? To pay tribute to the Lord. Otherwise, our tribute or our obeisances will be mechanical. Krishna has said, Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So I am doing Namaskuru. No. When we'll remember that yes, Krishna, and when we'll admit that yes, Krishna, you have showered your mercy on me, then we will be able to truly pay the tribute. Then Prabhupada says, simply by accepting the Lord as the supreme proprietor of everything. Now, whatever we have, we should consider as a property of Krishna. The moment we say this house belongs to me, this wealth belongs to me, Maya is going to empower. But we say that we are living in a house of Krishna. The wealth, we are using the wealth given by Krishna. Then Prabhupada says that doing that, one can achieve the highest perfection of life. Even by living in Grihastha ashram, we can achieve the highest perfection. Whatever a person may be in the estimation of social order of things, if a person tries to reciprocate a feeling of love toward Supreme Personality of Godhead and is satisfied with the blessings of the Lord, he will at once feel the highest peace of mind. At once, Prabhupada says, immediately, for which he is anchoring life after life. We don't know what we are anchoring life after life. Prabhupada says, peace of mind, or in other words, the healthy state of mind can be achieved only when the mind is situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. If we do not have peace, then we cannot have happiness. And Prabhupada says that peace will come by engaging in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is reading, discussing, writing answers of OBA, CBA, preparing for the sloka exams. These all things are part and parcel of our service to the Lord. We should connect it with that. Just as a big business magnate sons are empowered with specific powers of administration, we are empowered. And obedient son of father never goes against the will of the Lord. so that he will be always peaceful, Prabhupada says. So we should fully and satisfactorily discharge the duty and will of the Father as faithful sons. This very mentality will at once bring peace and prosperity to human society. People don't understand, so this society becomes restless. Vikramo bhurbhuvasvascha kshemasya sharanasya cha sarvakama varasyapi hareshcharana aspadam. So the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter of the upper, lower and heavenly planets, as well as for all that we need, his lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fear. So that's why when we see DT, we start from the lotus feet of the Lord. So the absolute protection from all sorts of fear as well as all our needs of life, we must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Prabhupada says, we must take. There is no should, it is a must. And last time we discussed that what are the three signs of progressing in a spiritual life? What are those three indications?
Maruchi, Jivodaya, isn't that?
Tushti, Pushti and Haribol. Last one.
Bhaya.
Kshuddha Nivrutti, right?
Yeah.
So Tushti means, what is Tushti? If we have to talk about
Satisfaction.
one
Nourished, Prabhuji, nourished. One
Pushti
gets
is,
nourished.
Pushti is nourished. So basically,
Basically,
to get the love of Krishna, slowly the love of Krishna should increase. Secondly, the attachment to worldly things and material relations should be diminishing. It's not affection. Affection can remain as it is, but attachment should be diminishing. Attachment to Krishna should be increasing. And third thing is, what is Kruta Nivrutti?
Cessation of hunger.
fear has to go.
Bhayam Dvitiya Nivishe, right? Fear has to go. Slowly, the fear of various things in life should diminish. What will happen tomorrow, whether I will live or die, whether war will happen or not, what will happen to stock market, all these things will diminish. Prabhupada says no one should have any kind of doubt in this matter, nor should one be inclined to seek the help of any other demigods. Prabhupada is very clear, time and again he says, inclined to the demigods means kacha. He has to become pakka. He says, everyone except the Lord himself is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. All demigods are dependent on the Lord. So we should always be very firm. Apam viryasya swargasya parjanyasya prajapatehe punsa sishna upastastu prajatyananda nivrute. Says from Lord's genitals originate water, semen, generatives, rains, and procreators. His genitals are the cause of pleasure that counteracts the distress of begetting. So wonderful purports are there. So I will request all of you to read it. Prabhupada says the degraded form of family restriction by use of contraceptive who use these devices want to fully utilize the pleasure potency. And he says without knowing the spiritual importance, without knowledge of spiritual values, and less intelligent man tries to utilize only material sense pleasure. So that's why we are filling the form for initiations. Very clearly it is being asked, you will not use contraceptive. Please confirm. We are not using in future also. We will not do family planning. These all things are having spiritual importance. It's not material. Payuryamasya mitrasya parimokshasya narada hinsaya nirutermrutyo nirayasya gudam smrutah. O Narada, the evacuating outlet of the universal form of the Lord is the abode of controlling deity of death, Mitra, and the evacuating hall and rectum of the Lord is the place of envy, misfortune, death, hell, etc. So, Parabhutera dharmasya tamasaschapi paschimah nadyo nada nadinam cha gotranam asti sanghatihi. The back of the Lord is the place for all kinds of frustration and ignorance, as well as for immortality. From his veins flow the great rivers and rivulets, and on his bonds are stacked the great mountains. So everything and anything what we can see are being connected with the universal form of the Lord. Those who are fortunate enough to have a view of the Lord from the front, Prabhupada says this is very important statement, can realize his personal feature. Whereas those who are frustrated and are thus kept on the ignorant side of the Lord, or in the other words, those who have the view of the Lord from the back, realize in his impersonal feature. Very important point. All impersonalists are on back side of the Lord. We are all on the front side of the Lord. अव्यक्त रस सिंधूनां भूतानां निधनस्य च उदरं विदितं पुंसो हृदयं मनसः पदम्. The impersonal feature of the Lord is the abode of great oceans, and his belly is the resting place for the materially annihilated living beings. So, at the end of the day of Brahma, all the living entities go back into the belly of Garbhodakshaya ocean. And now after the end of the life of Brahma, where it goes? Everybody goes to
Karnodakshaya Vishnu.
Karnodakshaya Vishnu. Very well. So his heart is the abode of subtle material bodies of living beings. So subtle bodies will go to the heart of the Lord, and gross bodies will go to, not gross body, the souls will go to the belly of the Lord. Prabhupada refers the Bhagavad Gita 8.17 and 18, day of Brahma, and entire time scale is being discussed here. And Prabhupada says that human life is meant for making solution to this repeated change of bodies, and thereby attaining a place in the spiritual sky where everything is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. In other words, the subtle forms of living entities take place in the heart of Supreme Being. Such forms take tangible shape at the time of creation. धर्मस्य मम तुभ्यं च कुमाराणां च भवस्य च विज्ञानस्य च सत्त्वस्य परयास्य Parasyatma Parayanam. So he says, consciousness of great personality is the abode of religious principles, mine, yours, and those of the four bachelors, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanat, and Sanandan. The consciousness is also the abode of the truth and transcendental knowledge. So, Brahmaji talks about consciousness. Now he talks about in the 4 verses 13 to 16. He says that let me request somebody to read the translation so that then we can go to the table. Yes, Subhamai Hariji Mataji, please read. Beginning from me, Brahma.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Beginning from me, Brahma, down to you, and Bhava Shiva, all the great sages who were born before you, the demigods, the demons, the nagas, the human beings, the birds, the beasts, as well as the reptiles, etc., and all the phenomenal manifestations of the universe, namely the planets, stars, asteroids, luminaries, lightning, thunders, and the inhabitants of the different planetary systems, namely the Gandhavas, Apsaras, Yakshas, Rakshas, Ganas, Uragas, Pashus, Pitas, Siddhis, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and all the other different varieties of living entities, including the birds, beasts, trees, and everything that we all are covered by the universal form of the Lord at all times, namely past, present, and future, although he is transcendental to all of them, eternally existing in a form not exceeding 9 inches. Thank you, Babaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, 9 inches. So let us see now. Prabhupada says, Achinta Bhedabhed Tattva is perfect philosophy of absolute truth. So we'll switch to the Subodhini. So here there is a comparison of Purusukta verse and Bhagavatam verse. Is my screen visible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So let's say here it is. The first one on left side. Sahasra Sirisa Purusa Sahasraksa Sahasrapad Sabbhumim Viswaso Vitva Ashtadisya Atyadististad Dasangulam. So 10 fingers it is being talked about. Basically, it's not the 10 inches. It is 10 layers, 9 layers being talked about. Here it is being talked 9 inches, but it is 9 layers. The 9 layers are the 5 layers of earth, water, fire, ether, and air. Then I think ego is there. So 6, and then Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So there are 9 layers, and it is not inches; those are very big layers, right? But anyway, it is angulam. So 9 those 10 partitions are talked about. Purusa evedam sarvam yat bhutam yat cha bhavyam utamrita त्वशेषानः यद् अन्नेन तिरोहिति एतावानस्य महिमातो जायांस्य पुरुषः पादोस्य विश्वाभूतानि त्रिपाद अस्यामृतं दिवि. So same verses are being compared here with the verses of 5th and 6th chapter. We will come to table. So we saw mukham, mouth, tongue, nose, eyes, ears, skin. These are all gross sense organs. Hair, hands, legs, genitals, anus, navel, abdomen, and hridayam. We have all discussed. And related subtle sense organs are also there. And further, the Adideva or the sense devata is also mentioned as per the sloka. And for karmendriyas, there is no elements. Karmendriya, only for Jnanendriya, those elements are mentioned as we see here. And there is, if I have to, this is the Subodhini photograph of 10th chapter of 2nd canto. So if you see here, which is the additional column? Just see this table. Presently the table has 4 major columns except serial number. Noticed? Now I am going to another table. Have you noticed this? So I can move?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is the table. Forget about 21 and all this. Just see from the yellow highlighted.
Lord's desire.
Desire. So 10th chapter, again same Vishwarupa comes, and again gross senses will be there, again subtle senses will be there, again sense devata will be there, again activity will be there, but there is an addition of Lord's desire. Until unless Lord's desire to speak, mukam will not be generated. That sense organ will not come into place. Until unless God desires to experience sensations, so tvacha will not materialize. Skin will not materialize. When God desires to perform activities, then hands will materialize. When God desires to move, then legs will materialize. Like that. When God desires to smell, nasika will materialize. When he desires to drink and eat, then tongue will materialize. When Lord desires to see the other objects and himself, then eyes will materialize. So like that. So that is the only addition there. And yeah, okay. I think we are done. So tomorrow I think Ekpad Vibhuti and Tripad Vibhuti can be taken. We'll end it here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitana pavanebhyo Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama.
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare
Rama
Ram, Ram Ram.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam, Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Pranam,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Prabhu, they'll have some administrative questions, so I'll take that. So, sure. Thank you. Just stop. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, devotees. Hare Krishna, everybody. I think a lot of you all are worrying about exam. Don't worry about it. So all those who are going for yatra, please go ahead and enjoy the yatra. I think few of you all are traveling across, so I'm very glad. And all those who want to go for Vyas Puja, some of you all going to Ayodhya, please enjoy. Don't worry about exam. We'll plan on a re-exam for you all as well. So don't worry too much about it. But this is for people who are going for yatra. Those who are here, don't think, okay, you can skip the exam and have a re-exam. We are making a note of who are all traveling and based on that, okay? And Sharada Mataji, I think you had a question. Do you want to share the screen so that I can explain that part of it? Are you there, Sharada Mataji?
Mataji, Sarita or Sharda?
Sorry, Sarita Mataji.
Yeah. 1 second, Mataji.
After 9 o'clock, I forget my own name, so you have to manage.
1 second. Let me
No
open
problem.
that. Okay, it says only host can share in this.
One second, I'll make you the host. I thought I facilitated the sharing. No problem. Hi, Kesha.
Yes, Mataji. Right.
So all of you will stay for 5 minutes because I think this is a question which...
Stop the live streaming, Mataji?
No, Prabhu. I think this is a part of the
Okay.
question. They have a doubt coverage,
Okay.
which typically is from Canto 2, but initial chapter. So let it go like. Thank you. Yeah. Mataji, possible to keep it in the horizontal view?
Yeah, landscape. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so before...
Can you see
thank
now?
you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So basically, I think this is a particular chart. She had a doubt and I thought I'll take this up here so that all of you all get clarified. Before we move to this, do you remember Bhagavad Gita chapter 6? What is the name of that chapter?
Dhyana Yoga.
Mataji.
Ashtanga Yoga, Mataji.
Yeah, so basically Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga both means the same. This is one. Second thing is, can you tell me what are the process? Ashtanga means 8, right? So what are those angas?
Yeah. Yama, Niyama,
Niyana,
Asana, Pranayama,
Pranayama,
Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi.
Dharana,
Dhyana, Samadhi.
Yeah, so this is very similar to that. Yama means do's, Niyama means don't. Obviously, both are linked to both. Like, for example, get up early in the morning, Yama. Don't get up late in the morning, Niyama. So both ways it can be projected. Asana, we already saw the way in which you should sit, the way in which you breathe and all that.
Posture.
Yes, sitting posture. Pranayama is
breath control.
Breath control.
Breath control. Breath control. Pratyahara.
Mind control. Keeping mind away from the sense gratification. Yeah.
Absolutely. So pranayama is breathing. This is about controlling the mind and other senses, right? So now there are 2 stages to it. If you go back to that, there are 2 things. What is that? Yoga
and
Yoga Ruda.
Yoga Ruda, Yoga
Mataji, Yoga Ruda and Yoga Rukshu are there.
So
Yoga
what is
Ruda
the
and Yoga Rukshu.
So what is the difference?
Yoga Ruda is the initial stage.
Yoga is the highest stage.
So Yoga Rukshu does the meditation of Paramatma and Yoga Rukshu does the meditation of Brahman.
Which is the initial stage?
Yoga Rukshu and Yoga Rukshu and then Yoga
is the highest stage, Mataji.
No, only one line, one word. Which is the initial stage?
Yoga Rukshu.
Yoga Ruksha.
Right. So when you're doing the Yoga Ruksha stage, what do they say? Along with the Ruksha, I'm going back to Bhagavad Gita, they say that you have to do your duties, correct? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Why you have to do that is because you still have desires. Now you come back to this chart, you will understand better. So what is happening is along with your Yoga Rukshu stage, which is your initial stage, you still have desires. You have not gone out of the desires, right? So that is why he is called an attached yogi. Now after the Pratyahara, he goes to Dharana. Okay, we will come to Dhyana later, but at the Dharana stage, because he has desires, he will meditate on the Virat Rupa. If you see, this is very similar to the Jnani. Jnani also meditates only on the Virat Rupa. So here, he is going to meditate on Virat Rupa. This is one set of people. Now let's go to Yoga Ruda, who's an advanced yogi. He has no desire. So obviously, he will go to Dharanashraya stage, right? Even at Dharanashraya stage, there is no desire for him. If he has desire, he will follow the previous one. But if he has no desire, he will go to dhyana. Okay. So we are clear of the two things. If he has desire, he will focus on the Virat Rupa. If he does not have desire, he will focus on the Paramatma feature. Is the first step clear? Right? Now, let us assume that he is continuously having desire. See, if he gets out of desire, he will move to this. But let's assume that he is always having a desire. So when he has the desire, what happens is his route is long route. Okay. What do you mean by long route is, it is applicable to all of us. So when we are going to Goloka Vrindavan, how we will go is we will travel. This is a GPS route. So we will travel, and you would have saw this. There is something called Shushrusama Loka, right? Which is a pivot. So the Loka is like this. Loka is not like straight. It's like a circle. So in that Vaishvanara Loka planet are there. So he will go to various planets, tongue. So he will even cross the Swarga. If he wants, he can even stay in Swarga, but that is not his interest because he does not want his karma. Little bit of wish he has, but that doesn't mean he is a karmi. Are you able to understand the difference?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
All his activities for enjoying in the Swarga Loka. So he is promoted to Swarga Loka for a particular span of time. Whereas an Ashtanga yogi may go through Swarga, but he has the free will to go to Swarga, come back, do whatever he wants because he has more freedom. Though he is an attached yogi, but his route is basically he goes like this. He goes to Swarga, then he can go to all of them, and then he goes up, right? So basically, step by step he goes. Now let's come to the other yogi who is a yoga ruda, who is a very advanced yogi. He is in dhyana state. From dhyana, he goes to a state called lapto prashanti. What do you mean by lapto prashanti? Forget the word, but the concentration should
already
be
achieved.
Mind, intelligence, all of them are under control, Mataji.
Which means that he is beyond the modes. It means he's in a liberated stage. At a liberated state, he is already achieved liberation, though he is in the material planet, right? He has no wish. He's above the modes. He's in the Brahma Bhuta stage, right? Brahman realization. Though he is focusing on Paramatma, he will now increase or move his chakra. From where he will take it from Sat Chakra. Basically, there are various things now from slowly from the Mula Chakra, from Agnya Chakra, from down, he will take it to the Mula Chakra top. And from here, when he's taking it out, he has the power to exactly decide where he has to go. You want, he can go to Swarga, but that is again not his focus. He will directly go to Brahmajyoti. Okay. Now at Brahmajyoti, both of them are stuck. The difference is he has a direct route to Brahmajyoti, whereas a attached yogi goes in stages, one tongue, like steps. Now at Brahmajyoti, if they have some realization of the Lord intensely, then they can still go to Goloka or Vaikunta. Mostly Vaikunta. Goloka entry is difficult, but that also is very difficult. So after staying for a very long time in Brahmajyoti, they again come back. So this is the entire Ashtanga yoga process. So in one line, a yogi who is a yoga ruksha, who does not have complete control of his senses and has desire, Virat Rupa, long route to Brahmajyoti. Somebody who has complete control over his senses will actually focus on the Paramatma feature and again go directly by doing that, increasing his air through the central thing, and he will bring it out and go directly to the Brahmajyoti. Eventually, both of them go to Brahmajyoti. Clear?
Mataji, there is a little mistake in this chart.
This diagram is
because from desire, you cannot go to Sat Chakra.
From desire, he is not. Actually, you can ignore that.
Yeah,
I think
this arrow is wrong.
Mataji, please refer Subodhini for the correct chart.
Mataji, in Subodhini,
Yes, Mataji.
the correct chart.
that is the problem here.
No problem. The correct chart
But
is
then
actually
Mataji, this is correct, na? Dhyana, Samadhi and Brahman realization. Those
everything
are
is correct. From the desire,
there it will go to Sat Chakra Yoga. From Brahman
Mataji,
realization,
in the new book, in Subodhini, there is no arrow between desire and Sat
So,
Chakra.
Mataji,
And from Brahman realization, you go to Sat Chakra. In the new
Yeah, so-
book, in another Subodhini, it is giving something else. It is not
No
giving
problem.
an arrow between desire and Sat Chakra.
Just remove this arrow. Rest of the thing will be perfect. All are call words.
And from here, Brahman realization, there is an arrow to Sat Chakra. Then to
Absolutely.
liberation.
So
that is
both
the
means the same.
confusing part in this chart. That is the confusing part.
No, both-
Mataji,
Yeah.
just one doubt, Mataji. So in the dhyana stage, is he not meditating on the four-handed form of Lord Vishnu?
Yes, he is. That is why I said Paramatma feature, na 400.
Paramatma feature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and samadhi is also like deep meditation. He's
difference
on the
between
attributes
dhyana,
of the Lord and
difference between dharanashraya. One second. Difference between dharanashraya and dhyana. In dharanashraya, he will meditate on the complete one look of the Lord. Okay, like fully from head to toe. That it's just like totally like the way we see now. 1 second we'll see, and then we'll forget what dress Krishna is wearing. That is dharana. Dhyana is he goes into complete intense part by part meditation. What earring is wearing, what bindi is wearing, part by part, limb by limb, portion by portion. That is called dhyana, which means it is in depth. Samadhi is over and above that. It is even more fixed. He does not get diverted at all. He is like completely. Can you give me an example of someone who we know in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, who went into Samadhi stage?
Narmuni Mataji?
Mataji, at a later stage, Dhritarashtra also went into meditation.
Very nice.
When
Dhritarashtra
after
also
Vidras,
Went into Ashtanga
yeah.
yoga only, no? That's why he left.
Mataji, even Nardamuni saw Lord Vishnu once and then he disappeared, na?
No,
He
but
was
Bhishma Pitama also.
Shrungi's father.
Bhishma Pitama did not meditate, did not do Ashtanga
father.
yoga. Somebody else.
Yes.
Shringi's
Dhruva,
father.
no.
I think that was a brilliant answer.
Samiksha Muni.
Yes, Shamika Muni was someone who was in Samadhi, which is why he was totally out. He never bothered whether snake went on his neck, whether the king was talking. So, while Dhritarashtra also did that, but Shamika Muni is closer example because we experienced the fact that he was totally outside the scope of all this. When did he come into realization? Only when his son started crying, he just opened his eye and saw the snake and he threw, right? I mean, literally that way. And
yes.
Mana Upamana, none of that
Mataji,
affected.
then the Paramatma realization one
Mataji,
also will go to Brahm Jyoti only, Mataji. The
Paramatma
Paramatma
realization
realization.
also he goes to Brahmajyoti.
Mataji, yeah, that
Brahmajyoti
only
only,
doubt
no?
is like why then he went to Brahmajyoti when he's meditating on Lord. That is this.
Very beautiful question. So basically, this is with this way. When the end is Paramatma, that is their idea is not to reach Paramatma, right? When the means is Paramatma, what do? Their focus is to control their body, mind. They are not, their target is, they use Paramatma as focus. For example, I am giving you a candle and I'm telling you to focus on the candle. Can you tell that candle is your destination? No. You're using candles to get focus, right? So I'm telling you, see this light or see a pendulum. Like that, what they are doing is they are completely focusing on Paramatma as a means. But the moment when their end also becomes Paramatma, they will enter Vaikuntha, which is what I told you, which does not happen. Because when they go to Brahmajyoti, again their route will go to Brahmajyoti. From Brahmajyoti, I told you, by chance they have a good interaction. Suppose one of you all meet them on the way, right? When we are also going to Goloka, we'll go through all these lokas. You meet one of this person and tell hi. Maybe he will jump into our boat and he will come to Goloka Vrindavan or to any Vaikuntha planet. Just like how Bhishma Pritama, like the four-handed form, wanted to see Krishna in the four-handed form as a Partha Sarthi Rupa. So he went to Vaikuntha planet, where he could see Krishna in the Parthasarthi format, right? Four-handed. Likewise, Paramatma feature, if his end is also that, but most likely their means is Paramatma, their end is not Paramatma. That is the difference in understanding.
right. So Mataji, please suggest, like for example,
Mataji, small difference. I've been stopping Dhruva Maharaj because Dhruva Maharaj was not actually, he was doing Bhakti Yoga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But for the Bhakti Yoga,
Ashtanga yoga only, Mataji.
One minute. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatir antaratmavan shraddhavan bhajate yomam. What does it mean? In Ashtanga Yoga, an yogi who thinks of the Lord completely and meditates, his means was not Paramatma. His end itself was Paramatma. Think of Dhruva's story. Dhruva wanted Ashtanga Yoga. Why? Because the level of adamance some of the kings have, right? Their self-thought, I'm not telling they're selfish, is so high that they can't find easy means. If you tell Dhruva, go chant, that is what Narada Muni told. He said, no, chod do hai, give me thoda mushkil, give me a tougher style. So he says, do Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. No doubt he did Ashtanga Yoga, but his focus was what we spoke. His focus was not just Paramatma as the means, but his end was also Paramatma.
Right. But Mataji, according to this diagram, excuse me.
Mataji, did he get to Brahmjyoti first? Then only he went to the Lord. After that, he went into Brahmjyoti first. No, then only he went later to
Dhruva did not go to Brahmajyoti because Dhruva Maharaj, when he did Ashtanga Yoga, he had complete Samadhi state of the Lord. Right? He forgot. He never made any attempt for moving any chakra here and there. His focus means was Paramatma. His end was Paramatma. He was wanting to meet Vishnu. His desire was Vishnu. Do you understand? He was an attached desire was to get the kingdom. But his meditation was focused only on not only the desire, but to meet the Paramatma. Which is why Vishnu comes to Dhruva and gives him a Dhruva plan. But the moment he saw him, what happens? Forgot. So when the final state.
So Mataji, when we are saying, sorry Mataji. So Mataji, when we are saying, like for example, if we take the example of Dhritarashtra, so he attained Vaikuntha because he was doing Dhyana Yoga. Isn't it, Mataji? So he also did not go to Brahman realization, is it? Or he directly went, he was meditating, he was following Dhyana Yoga.
Yeah, one at a time. We will talk about Dhruva. Dhruva though is confirmed because when he was actually leaving his body after 36,000 years of ruling, he actually got the Vaikuntha planet. He told, I want my mummy also there. That's all. So there is no this path which
Viman came to take it.
Mataji, pole star is still in the material world only.
Very beautiful, but pole star is not a spiritual. It is a 1 minute. It's a spiritual planet in the material world. It never gets annihilated. Yeah, so basically pole star is imagine Shirota Kasai Vishnu is there. Yeah? So it is basically what? They are sharing the same loka, no? Sa loka kind of association also. Yeah, Sashti.
Yes, Mataji.
Sashti, all of them is getting.
Mataji, then one last question, Mataji.
Yeah,
so when we say
one at a time, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, so when we say like jnanis go to meditate, like they go to Brahman realization, and we always say like Ashtanga Yogi, he meditates on Paramatma, feature of Lord, and Bhakta is Bhagwan. So, but here we are saying that even Ashtanga Yogi, if he is not advanced, he will go to Brahman realization. Correct, Mataji?
Ashtanga Yogi, even if he is advanced, he goes to only Brahman realization.
Oh, even if he is advanced, that the destination for him also is Brahman realization only.
Absolutely.
Unless he is a Bhakta.
Okay, but they have the facility. I mean, they have the liberty of going ahead, isn't it, Mataji? Like Durvasa Muni, he could access the Vaikuntha also. He was able to do so, but he was an Ashtanga Yogi actually.
Very nice thing. So in the Sri Sampradaya, we are talking about Durvasa Muni, very beautifully they explain. They talk about two things. If we also see, there are Param Yuga, which is called the Vaikuntha. They talk about two Vaikunthas. I'll tell you one, just like how she just spoke now. Right? Dhruva Loka, there is one thing. That also they call Vaikuntha. For example, which you will understand better, Shiru Dakasai Vishnu appears to Brahma and he talks, right? He only speaks, he does not show. So every time Brahma has a problem, he goes and prays to Shiro Dakasai Vishnu. So Dhruva, actually, there are very clearly, according to their Sampradayam, they say that Dhruva never entered the Vaikuntha where Narayana is there. They only entered the four-handed form of Shiro Dakasai Vishnu where the milk ocean is there. This is what they are saying. Right? So they call Vaikuntha as two Vaikuntha. One, they call it as the Bhauma Vaikuntha, like how we call Bhauma Goloka, right?
Oh, okay.
Like that, they tell that is one Vaikuntha. So this is one explanation from Ramanujacharya. Okay. From our point of view, also Dhruva went there, right? Even going by hours, but he cannot stay there. If he could stay there, where will Sudarshan Chakra come and kill someone in Vaikuntha? He was only able to visit. So even Ashtanga yogis who are doing transmigration cannot permanently stay there unless they have association. Classic example is Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumaras are not Mayavadis, they are Brahmavadi. They believe in the form of God, but they do not want that, they want Brahmajyoti only. Therefore, when they saw the form, they fell for him and they went and sat there. Right? So there is a difference between a Jnani, Ashtanga Yogi and a Brahmavadi, because a Brahmavadi does not deny the form of the God. It is his choice. He just doesn't want it. So Durvasa Muni never denied the form of the God. That is something which we should understand. Same with Sankaracharya. Sankaracharya never denied. What did he tell in Gita Mahatmya? He very clear. Eke Putram Deviki Putre, everything is telling, Eke Shastram Deviki Putra Gita, Eke Mantra Deviki Putreva, Eke Putram Deviki Putran, right? So everything he is telling is there. Okay, and finally, Eke Seva, what is that Seva? Right? So you are going to help. So Namani Yani. So therefore, that is what is the ultimate thing. So we should understand the mood of them. But unfortunately, the followers of Ankaracharya flipped. But he was very clear. He said Krishna is the ultimate God. So their mood can be different. Their destination wish can be different. Same with us. Right? Somebody wants to be a gopi, somebody wants parakya rasa. Among us also there is variegatedness. So among them also there is variegatedness. Hare Krishna. Any other doubts? Coming back to Dhritarashtra.
But I have heard from one of the lectures now. They said that he went to the pole star, and that was because he was doing the Ashtanga yoga. So he got into the Brahman realization first, and then again he did the bhakti over there. Again he went into the spiritual world, and then that was he got the liberation.
Okay, very nice. Thanks for
Krishna,
sharing. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
May I ask you a question, Mataji?
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Sure.
Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna.
clarification.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Not at all. Pleasure. Any other questions? If not, we'll end the
Yes,
meeting.
Mataji, I want to ask one
Mataji, only
question.
this chart has a problem. That's why we also
Mataji,
were confused. This chart.
This chart is this chart. They
Mataji,
said
please
it's-
ask the question. Shri Haripriya Mataji wanted to ask the question. No, please ask. Yes, Mataji, I want to ask a question. Let others first finish off, then I'll ask.
Sorry?
I'll ask. May I ask the question, Mataji, now?
Yeah, please go ahead and ask.
Mataji, I want to ask a question. Correct me if I'm wrong. When we do the Bhagwan realization, that is the Satchidanand Anubhuti or realization. So when we think, like we compare it with the analogy of the sun, if somebody is entering into the sun sphere, then the person is automatically passing through the rays of the sun, going on the planet and then entering. So as per my understanding, what I think is if somebody is going for Paramatma realization also, the Brahman realization will come automatically because
Absolutely.
it is
Absolutely,
so
you're right. So in Bhagavan, all three are built into it.
Yes. So they automatically have Brahman realization, Paramatma, and for Bhagwan realization. For a devotee, all three happens automatically.
Absolutely.
For a yogi who is concentrating and focusing and meditating on Paramatma, Brahman realization is a path through which the person will do this Shat Chakra yoga, and then that liberation. What I understood from the chart is that it dares and goes to the Paramatma realization, and that is Vaikuntha planet. So
Okay. This is what even I thought, and I took clarification on that because they will not enter Vaikuntha planet unless their end is Paramatma, which is what I'm also telling. If the means, because most of the time the Ashtanga yogis, they focus on Satchakra, all of them, their idea is not to enter the Vaikuntha planet. If their idea is to go to Vaikuntha, then they will get Salokya or Gopi. But if their idea itself is to focus on Paramatma, the answer is no. They are using Paramatma as the means. Go back to Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 and you will understand very clearly what is their plan. Everybody, whether it is Ashtanga Yogi or Jnana Yogi, should have little bhakti. Otherwise, all this is flop. Without
Correct,
bhakti, stage
Mataji.
1 also will not happen. Okay?
So, Mataji, that is why we are saying no mystic yogis is what you're mentioning. They have desires, even they're using the means. Paramatma is the means, but Paramatma is not the end for them.
Goal is not that. Yes.
Exactly.
So
How many?
finally what
all
we
the
concluded
siddhis.
is that Paramatma realization will remain in the Brahman realize till the Brahman only, no Mataji. They are not going to enter the Vaikuntha planets.
They will enter if they get a chance to associate with the devotee. So invariably, if you are also starting, if they are also starting and we both shake hands and tell hi, maybe they'll jump into us and come along with us to Vaikuntha.
Okay.
Okay, got it. So basically, when we talk about destinations, for a Jnani, anyways, it is Brahman realization. Paramatma, he has an option. So he can go to he will go to Brahman realization plus the other choices are also there.
Both of them have the option. Both of them have the option. Not only that, even a Jnani has an option.
That's right.
But the fact is whether he can enforce. Just to give you an example, the Jnani, forget the Jnani, the Ashtanga Yogi who's focusing on Virat Rupa goes to heaven. He has an option to enjoy the heaven. What will the karmi think? He'll think, "Are idiot, yaar, so he's got a free entry into heaven. Can't he stay?" Because he can stay any period, however long in heaven. Whereas a karmi cannot, right? You understand the difference. So what will the karmi think? He'll think, "Idiot, he's got such a nice chance to be in heaven. Why is he just moving?" Because that's not what he wants. Right? Understand what everybody wants and give them what they want. Karmi will feel, wow. But an Jnani feels, I don't want. I've worked all my life not to give up my desire in the earth. Why will I come and sit in heaven and enjoy? But in case he gets attracted to heaven and he wants to play with Urvasi or Urmila, sorry, who is it? Urvasi only, no? Urvasi, Rati, he will sit there. That's his choice.
Mataji,
Right?
then finally in this chart, when they say finally after Shat Chakra, there is a liberation. What they mean by this liberation then? After Brahman
Liberation,
realization?
Brahma Jyoti is also liberation, Mataji. Liberation means freedom. I told you that is what. It's called Lapto Prashanti, which means that you are free from bodily three modes, which is mode of Sattva, Raja, Tamo, right? Even in this world, they are there and they choose when to leave the body. Just like how Bhishma had Icha Marnam, so they can also choose and they can just remove, raise their life air. And if they are really powerful, they will leave it from here and they can choose which planet they can go. They will probably go and sit in Shishnuma planet. They will sit in Mahar planet. They can do whatever. If they go to the Brahma's Loka, not Brahma Loka, that is Satya Loka, from there also they will suddenly do meditation and go. It's their choice. Right? It is totally their choice. So they have the facility. Understand one thing, they have the choice. Whether they will want to execute the choice or not is a different game. Right?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maha Mantra, everybody has a choice. Is it that it's only to you? But does anyone want to do it? That's their choice.
Yes.
Most of them know, yes, by chanting, we will go there. Do we do? May not be. We as in not just us, I'm talking about everybody. Clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much,
Mataji,
Mataji.
then the chart again, it shows that from Brahmaloka, if they're going from a longer way, they go from Brahmaloka and the changes from earth, water, fire. What this means, Mataji, changes from earth, water, fairy, airy,
It's releasing everything,
and then
no?
they become
It's releasing everything.
Gross body, then subtle body, no, Mataji?
Mataji, how did we come? Reverse psychosis is happening.
It's reverse.
So we are having gross body, then subtle body is coming, right? I mean, that's a big chart, which I can explain. But then broadly, if you're talking about from the Mahapurusha, Karano Dakasai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, what is happening? Pradhana is like a lump, right? Along with Pradhana, what is happening? Our backpack, which is karma, and our front pack, which is swab. 1 minute. Our front pack, no. Our backpack is karma, and our front bag, carrying one more thing called our Swarupa is also coming, right? These two are coming. Swabhava. We don't use the word Swarupa, we use the word Swabhava. Both are entering. They enter the Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and Garbhodakasai Vishnu engages Brahma. We are given one of the body. Right? Body is like your car model. Which car you want? Okay, you take the, but not as per our choice. I'm telling whatever desire and our deserving credit. You are given the demigod body, or we may be given dog body. We will enter that body. That time only we get gross body, but we also get a subtle body. Right? So that reverse is happening. So what is happening first? That whatever I told, no, Pradhana, then you enter Mahatattva. After that, you get subtle body and gross body. Now all ulta has to happen, no, for him to go. So first, he is going to pierce the Pradhan, then he will leave his false ego, then he will leave his earth water, and then only he will enter Chandra. River osmosis only.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My thing is, this chart will take time. Because when I was trying to take class, initially it hit me very hard. I was finding it very difficult. So my suggestion is, try and do dhyana in this chart, then it will get into the thing. Remember only one thing, which I always tell, behind every chart, there is Krishna's heart, right? So try and understand to the extent you can. Beyond that, it doesn't matter. We will anyway go to Goloka Vrindavan. This is just that we'll try our best efforts to study this with the memory or intelligence Krishna has given us. Right? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhavi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'll end the meeting. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare